And welcome back, folks. Well, in honor of Preparedness Month, September, folks, of course, is Preparedness Month, we have brought in today two fine gentlemen, great volunteers here in Anne Arundel County. We have Mr. Patrick Fitzgerald, the chairman of our Anne Arundel County Citizens Corps, and Mr. Bruce Becker. And Bruce, you're our coordinator for the CERT volunteers. And that's really what we want to focus on today a little bit here is the actual what CERT means and what you're doing as a community emergency response team to help Anne Arundel County citizens prepare for just about any disaster that may come about.
What we're doing is trying to get the word out to people to get them to come in and get some training on how to take care of themselves. CERT stands for, I'm reading it off my shirt, Community Emergency Response Team. And it's sort of some very basic training on firefighting, first aid, emergency preparedness, some light search and rescue, how to turn off the utilities in your house. Something's happened and you have a gas leak. How do you shut this stuff off? We actually give you a tool that will shut off your gas, water, things like that. So trying to get people a little bit more trained so they can respond better in an emergency.
Well, Patrick, I had met some of your volunteers last weekend. As you know, we had our preparedness fair here right behind us at the Glen Burnie Fairgrounds. A good turnout of folks came out, and I got to meet a lot of the CERT volunteers and the Citizens Corps people that were out there on Saturday. And I was really interested and intrigued about the organizing neighborhoods program, how folks really get the word out to find where the police officers, the firefighters are. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, well, our organization is basically based on community organization. We don't only represent a certain area in the county, we represent the whole county. And we hold monthly meetings so that we can discuss various projects that we want to do. For example, like Bruce mentioned, the notifying people or keeping in touch with people when there is a disaster. That's very, very important because we have people who are disabled. Well, we want to know where these people are and how in an emergency we can get to them and they can notify us that they're all right, and then we can get. And basically our focus is on maintaining the safety of the communities until our services, our first responders can get to us and what have you. And the CERT program is the main focus of our work because that is where we have probably close to 100 people right now in the county that are trained in CERT. And what Bruce and I and other people are working on is trying to organize these people who are trained into teams within their community, because that's where they can do the good. They're not, I mean, our focus is community. Not, I mean, you have to take care of yourself and your own community, and that's basically where our function is. So,
and that's a message that we say on the show a lot, is that when we are talking about preparing for any type of disaster, that everybody really has to keep in mind that if the disaster is large enough, like the snowstorms that we saw over the winter, or something like Katrina or Isabel, a lot of times your police, your fire, your Department of Public Works, they're all trying just to get things back to normal on the main roads. So you may have to take care of yourself and your home and your family for some period of time. So ultimately, would you say that it would be good, or that your goal would be to have representatives, and either one of you can answer this question, from every community, and have some type of organization in every community that, people, we know that they would be taking care of themselves or organizing something?
That's the ideal, but obviously you're never going to see that. But what we would like to do is just do the best we can to get as many people in the communities trained on how to, I'm not talking about CERT in particular, but just have enough knowledge to know that you have to have the water, you have to have flashlights, you have to have extra batteries, and have some foods we say for 72 hours.
Right.
And that's basically our goal in the thing.
And anybody can do this. This isn't really hard training. Would you say that any of this is difficult, or that you need any kind of expertise? I mean, this is for everyday people, right?
This is everyday people. A lot of it's basic common sense. Just getting in a little bit is the mindset.
Correct, yeah.
Because
preparing.
Preparing, because we're not going to have another 9/11. There's not going to be a nuclear bomb blow up on B&A Boulevard anytime in the next couple of days. So why do we need to do this?
Right.
There's not a hurricane coming.
Right.
We dial 911 and magic happens.
Right.
Well, guess what? We get the snowstorm. A couple years ago, we had an ice storm
That's right.
on a weeknight, totally unprepared.
Right.
Stopped traffic, people sat for hours.
Yep.
Yeah. And your utilities go down.
Yeah, utilities go down. I carry MREs with me, so I sat in my office and ate beef stew.
Good for you.
That's how I'd want to spend a Tuesday night. Well, guys, let me talk about this. How do we, if folks, community association presidents, a lot of leaders in communities watch our show, and if they have not heard about you guys already, where should they go to find out more information and maybe set up a training for some folks in their community organization?
Kieran Shank?
Yeah, that basically is Karen Shank. She is the volunteer coordinator, and it's at the Office of Emergency Management, and that's who actually you should be contacted if they, if a community wants training, and we'll go out and we'll train them. We'll do the best we can to get them, to help them get their communities prepared for the thing. Now, the CERT is a little bit more advanced than just your basic preparedness. The CERT people have had some additional training in, like as Bruce said, in fire, rescue, and that sort of stuff. So it's a little bit more advanced. But we don't, not everybody has to do that. I mean, just be prepared is what we're looking for, so that we can keep the hardship from a disaster to a minimum. And
So
that's our
even
that's
at
our
a minimum,
goal.
if a community association was having their monthly meeting and asked you to come out to speak just about preparing at home, you would do that?
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
absolutely,
Yes, we would be happy to do
absolutely.
that.
Yes.
That would be great. So then they can contact Karen.
Absolutely.
We'll put Karen's number up.
So as a kind of as a final question for me, as a, people watching the show, as a father, family of 4, living in a house, in a nice suburban neighborhood, what things can you tell me and tell our folks at home that you absolutely need to have right now in your house to make sure you're prepared for any type of disaster?
I'm going to say some water, flashlight. They make some real nice ones that are hand operated. A radio, and again they make hand crank radios so the power goes out. They also make hand crank televisions. I'd almost recommend also one of those little portable DVD players. You're going to be bored. You got 4 kids in the house,
Yes.
no power. Yeah, your biggest problem isn't the fact that you don't have power. You got 4 kids that are. Sort of think about things like that. A little bit of food and water. A first aid kit. 911 isn't 2 minutes away anymore. They fall down, they scratch themselves, they hurt themselves. You're going to have to take care of it. You're going to have to take care of it. Yeah,
Right
there's
away.
nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's nobody else.
Great. Well, gentlemen, thanks for coming on the show to finish out and kind of close out our preparedness month. As next week we'll be into October. So great way to wrap up the month. Great information, and we'll put up again on the screen for you how to get in contact with our Office of Emergency Management and to find out more about the CERT team and the Citizens Corps of Anne Arundel County.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for your volunteer efforts here in the county.
You're very welcome. Thank
Folks,
you.
we're going to go ahead and take a break and think about putting that preparedness kit together as you watch this commercial. Stay with us. We'll be right back.